our last one for today. So given AD is the perpendicular bisector of BC, prove that CA is congruent with BA.
Okay, what does CA be congruent with BA?
So there is no reflective. There's a reflexive. Reflexive means something equals itself. Okay? If I can show that these two triangles, no, lots of people do it. They see this line and they're like, this line reflects to this line. They should be. Okay? There is a fancy way of saying this line of the triangle, because I've got two triangles right here, right? Two triangles right here. This part and this part, if these triangles are congruent, then this part and this part should be congruent. Okay? We have a fancy term for what that is. We've actually talked about it before. It's congruent parts, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So that's what this means. Corresponding parts. And then there's technically an of right here, so of congruent triangles are congruent. CPCTC. Okay?
Say that 5 times fast.
CPCTC. Done. Okay. So, this is what we're going to use here. Because showing that the triangles are congruent, that's pretty easy. Once I know the triangles are congruent, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Okay? So, first let's show that the triangles are congruent. Okay? We start always with what?
Given.
Perfect. So AD is the perpendicular bisector of BC. Okay? And that's our given. So,
That means BD.
that being perpendicular, what does that mean? What is that?
BD and DC are the same.
Perfect. So BD is congruent to DC.
What would that property be?
Why?
I can't remember the name of it.
It says it's a bisector, right?
Because it's the
Oh,
line
the
and then they
bisector
cut it
line,
in
yeah.
half.
So it's our definition of
congruency.
segment bisector.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? So by definition of segment bisector, they're the same. Okay? What else do I know? AD is congruent with itself, right?
Reflexive.
Reflexive. That's my favorite property.
Reflexive.
It's because when I say reflective, it's reflexive.
Okay, so if I mark now things that I know are congruent, I've got that. Is there anything else that I know is congruent? Because I need to find one more thing, right? I don't know AB and ACR, that's what I'm trying to prove.
Oh, you could do the angles.
Okay, what angle?
The one that's bisect, because then you know that they're equal.
Why do I know that
ABD is
these,
congruent to
why do I
ACD?
know these angles are the same?
Because the bisector.
It's not an angle bisector though.
No, it's
What is
a it's a segment bisector.
It's segment bisector just tells me they're the same length. This is a special kind of bisector. What kind of bisector is it? It's a perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisectors, what do I know about perpendicular bisectors?
They're both right
They
angles.
bisect at right angles. So I can say the angle, ADB, is a right angle. By definition of perpendicular bisector.
Wait, how do you say it's a right angle on Alex?
There's a button that you just type and it says it's a right angle, so you can just click on the button.
Ah, got it.
Okay? And then look for the definition that talks about perpendicular.
And then when you do it on the other side
Okay?
too.
I'd have to do it on the other side too.
So DCA. No,
So
ADC.
is a right angle. Definition of perpendicular bisector.
Quotation.
Okay?
Then would you have to say that ABD and ADC are equal to each other
Perfect.
by substitution property?
Not substitution.
Why?
No, so why are they congruent? I
Oh,
said they're
because
both
of-
right angles, right?
Uh,
All right angles are congruent.
okay.
So,
That's right.
So the same thing.
right angles
Okay.
are congruent.
Yeah, sure, not.
Shut up now.
Okay? Shh.
ADB.
So that means now I've stated this angle and this angle are the same.
Yeah.
So do I know the triangles are congruent?
Yes.
Why?
Because they're equal to each other.
Okay, but what tells me this triangle congruency? So ADB, triangle ADC, by what triangle congruence?
By side angle side, and then you can
Perfect.
do the last
Side
one.
angle side.
That proven because of
Triangle congruence.
CTC.
Okay? So everybody okay to hear? I'm not gonna clear it out, I'm just gonna write my last step I'm gonna write above my proof because I don't have space below. Okay? So, I'm not done with the proof yet. So, we've got everything done, right? We've showed that the triangles are congruent. If the triangles are congruent, what do I know about AC and AB?
They are also.
So then I say that AC or CA, since that's the order that it gives it, that's a line,
Send
is
the proof.
congruent to BA. Why? Because CPCTC.
PCTC.
Because the corresponding.
That's an ID term.
Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Yes. Okay. Questions?
How do you know when it's a side angle side triangle?
So I've got all my ticks on, right?
Yeah.
If I trace along the thing I know, I've got a side, touch at an angle, along a side. Side, angle, side. Okay? So I trace. That's the way I do it.